Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I wanted to do a quick little update on Bitcoin, what I think will happen with Bitcoin, what I think will happen with the market in general. Yeah, let's have a quick look at that. I will come back with other altcoins as well in the next few days. And be sure to stay tuned towards the end of the video. I always have a couple of freebies. And if you want to help me out, be sure to like and subscribe. All right, let's go. So, Bitcoin, obviously, in the last couple days, weeks, we had a little bit of, well, let's call it, I won't say bullish, but we had a little bit of relief from all the selling pressure, and we're starting to see a little bit more sideways movement. So if we grab the daily really quickly, and we'll get into the chart in a little bit as well, but I think it's good that we're seeing a little bit of buying pressure again, especially with everything that's happening in the world. It was either going to it could have gone either way with the whole Iran war, with the oil situation, with all the other situations. We could have seen more money flock to both gold, both Bitcoin, silver, especially stuff like that, which is historically always been bought during times of economic turmoil. But I think this past year has shown us that things that used to happen aren't really happening as we are expecting them to happen. So, yeah, we have to be prepared for the unexpected, which is also something I always try to hammer into everyone. Like, be prepared, uh, be mindful of what you buy, be willing to hold your buys, be willing to reinvest into your buys. At least that's my philosophy. That's how I invest. And Bitcoin is no different. Obviously, we're a little bit higher than we were at its lowest point at around 60K, 65K. My last buy was around 65. So I'm a little above that. For my monthly smaller amount of buys, I think that's still a relatively good price. We're still relatively well, it's not exactly 50% down, but we're still way down from its all-time high at 125,000. So even if you buy at this price, you know Bitcoin has already achieved almost double that in the past. So even buying at a current price of now, it's almost 100% gain from this point on the biggest crypto out there. So eventually we're going to see a turnaround on this, and we're going to see higher prices for Bitcoin. It could also go lower, but that also maximizes the buying potential for the upwards momentum. So it's kind of like a glass half full, glass half empty kind of thing. But I think it's good for now, at least, that we're starting to see relief from all the selling pressure. We're starting to see a little bit of upwards momentum, and a little bit more than initially here, I'd say. And we're also seeing a higher low. And that is on the 24-hour. But I think the weekly in this, yes, it looks very dramatic. But I think if we look at it, other than being very choppy waters, of course, I think it pretty much held those previous tops, which I think is a very good sign of the price possibly reversing. So let's just grab the chart we made in TradingView. And if we look at the daily, we can already see this basically price, this little support level here. And if we grab the weekly, we can see it a little bit more clearly. And let's just hide all the drawings. So we can see that it held these tops. And if we zoom in a little bit further, we can see that we're technically forming higher lows on the weekly, even with that red day in between. And we're still building green candles, and we're seeing more buying pressure here. We're starting to see, it is very choppy waters, of course, but what I do think is that we're seeing more buying pressure here, especially with this candle being pretty much bought up. Yes, we still continued further down, but we're starting to see that reversal pressure more and more. And I've said it before, I think around 60, 65K was ideal prices for Bitcoin. And obviously, a lot of people agreed with me on that. So, are we going to go lower? I honestly don't expect it to happen, at least not right now. And I will say this, with how the world is reacting right now to all this war stuff, let's just keep it at that. Let's try to keep the video a little shorter. But with the whole Iran situation, and of course, uh, all the other related countries being drawn into it, airports being closed, flights being rerouted, etc., etc., etc. But yeah, let's keep that a little bit close. But with everything that's going on right now, I still think it's an underreaction, either up or down. Because, like I said, historically we would have seen a bigger push on Bitcoin, which is something I was kind of expecting, but we only saw relatively small margins. Um, but we also didn't see very big crashes down, which I think, or further down at least, which I think is a good thing. I think right now we're at a relatively stable level. We can see more sideways movements, but if we see a little sideways upwards movements as well, I think that could be very good. I also think that I'm not expecting record profits this year. Like, we are on the weekly chart, and it is going to take just as many weeks as this to reverse that and possibly at least match it and possibly extend it. It's going to take a very long time to instill more confidence, to bring back more investors. I will say, however, that on the back end, there is massive, massive fundamental pressure to incorporate crypto more and more. And say what you will about Donald Trump, he is pushing for this to be incorporated more and more into America's systems as well. Now, America obviously handles a lot of money. And if that happens, it is, I've said it before, come volume, come value. If it massively increases the volume on all the crypto networks, we will see a bigger increase on the price as well, because there's money in these networks at that time. Apart from several OTC buys, of course, which is basically shifting money rather than new money coming in. But if the volumes that they're talking about start to flow in, eventually supplies will run, well, I won't say run dry, but supplies will become very rare. So they will be forced to buy more on the open markets. And we already saw this happen during this last run up to 125K. Bitcoin was already becoming very scarce, and that's why there's also CFDs on Bitcoin, basically enable trading on the paper value of Bitcoin rather than owning Bitcoin, which I'm a little bit against, but I understand why people do it. But those are things that signal that there is a shortage, that there is room for growth, that there is interest in this, fundamental interest. And with all of us, like, you wouldn't even be watching my channel if, or most likely wouldn't be watching my channel if you weren't interested in Bitcoin at all. And I think that's very telling. Like, the increase is there. If we look back now from now to a couple of years ago, nobody was watching Bitcoin. It was only the select few. And who knows what can happen in 10 more years. And when we hear these crazy numbers, or what we think is crazy numbers, with Bitcoin reaching $1 million in market cap, I think it's doable. But it's going to take time, money, effort, interest, fundamentals, companies, institutions, and all of those things take time, and that's going to take years. And I think the reversal for this year, I think it's there. I think we can see a reversal, but I'm not expecting record profits this year. But that doesn't matter. What we need to do is shift our attention into stacking Bitcoin rather than selling Bitcoin. So that's why I think right now is a good buying price. I think 60 is a good buying price. I think below 60, anything below 60 is a good buying price. But honestly, I'm not expecting us to drop back down to 40K anytime soon, unless we see some nuclear missile or something like that happen. But I'm on. I don't expect that to happen, of course, and I don't want that to happen as well. Like, I think we can all agree on that. That would not be good. All right. What I am going to do is get to an end of this video before I start rambling more and more and more. What I wanted to do was share with you my favorite exchange, BitUnix, newcomers bonus up to 10K plus. And it's one of the safer exchanges. I've also, well, not personally been involved, but I have seen them reimburse customers who were caught out on trades, who basically lost money with no fault of their own. And a lot of these exchanges don't tend to do that. They're very, very rough or strict, or not as legit as you would like to see. I'm not going to name any of these exchanges, but we have seen stuff like that happen in the past, and I've seen BitUnix make good on most of their promises. So that's where I've decided to trade a lot, and it's one of the two main exchanges I use. So if you want to trade crypto and you want to trade leverage, because the other one I have does not trade leverage, and if you want to trade leverage, I think BitUnix is one of the safer ones, one of the better ones, one of the easier ones, and it has a lot of tokens. So if you are interested in it, be sure to check it out. I have a link in the description down below. If you use that link, you do get added deposit bonuses, trading bonuses. So be sure to check that out. Now, also, I talk about this in a lot of my videos. My personal Discord, completely free. I try to share as much as I can in here. uh, this was my vacation, but I tried to share as much as my of my trades in here, my charts, my setups. I encourage other people to trade and share in here as well. And it is completely free. It is in the description down below. Be sure to check that out. Also, if you want to do me a massive favor, please leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video, guys. Peace.